Hello everyone, this is Type V3, and today I'll be taking a look at the Transformers Reveal the Shield Lugnut. So let's get into it. Just like the Transformers animated Lugnut, this version of the character is also a plane, or to be more specific, a military bomber. He's covered in this beautiful army green, and together with the yellow and purple paint accents, it really adds a lot more personality to the figure itself. On the nose of this figure, they've painted what appears to be a shark's mouth, and together with the red plastic nose and the red cockpit, it really makes the figure look goofy and menacing at the same time. Written on both his wings and his tail fin are the characters LU6 and NU7, just so that everybody knows his name. However, they've been painted in a very thin coat of paint, so they will scratch off quite easily, and at the end of his left wing can be found his Reveal the Shield rub sign. The turbines on the plane have also been given a really good paint job. With the bronze interior and black and yellow exterior, they do really pop and add a lot more personality as well. However, the yellow paint seems to be a bit thin, as you can tell that the army green paint is coming through them in certain angles. This figure would have benefited from a second coat of paint apps. Being a Voyager class figure, Lugnut himself is quite large, even when compared against his own Decepticon brethren. But it's his wingspan that's truly impressive, as you can tell that it can even house up to other deluxe class jets just under them. All in all, Lugnut's alt mode is pretty good. His mix of paint apps and wonderful design make him a technically brilliant figure. However, if I'm honest, it's not really the figure for me because I'm not a fan of these sort of military bombers. But that's alright, because that's not the reason I bought this figure. I definitely bought this guy for his robot mode. Start Lugnut's transformation by pulling down the undercarriage, then rotating the hip and the thigh swivel, folding up the undercarriage, forming the feet, and then you've got his leg. His arms are done by folding down the wing, pulling in the insides and the tip of the wing, unfolding the fingers, rotating the fist, and then turning the entire wing around and adding in the elbow joint. Next, you want to open the cockpit, fold down the tail fin and the tail itself, pull up the turbine / the shoulders, push in the tail to reveal the head, and then connect the chest. And after you're done all that, you got yourself your Reveal the Shield Lugnut in his robot mode, and he is a very stunning looking figure. Starting up at the top, you can tell that the designers had a lot of fun when making this guy. All the colors look really brilliant, and the red even on his chest now that's transparent actually looks metallic in certain lighting. The bronze that's inside the turbines and here on his sort of chest guns also stand out quite nicely. The giant shoulders are really cool in this guy, and you can tell it doesn't matter what angle you look at him from or where he is. He has a ton of personality to him. He almost looks like he's coming to life. I just love it. His head is beautiful with that singular cycloptic eye and opening mouth so he can sing to you and whatnot. It's all really cool stuff. In terms of articulation, the head is on a ball joint, I believe, but it is somewhat limited due to the way it's been designed here at his neck. When it comes to his arms, these are probably the most limiting feature of this figure, in terms that it can go outwards. There's a joint here to make it go forwards, and an elbow joint, and I guess you can say that his fist kind of swivels up like that, but then he has a thumb there, so that's kind of weird. Each of the fingers are opposable in their own right, and the thumb as well. But the only thing this guy is missing is I guess a bicep swivel or a forearm swivel, because you can't get him to turn it when he's up positioned like this. He does thankfully have a waist joint, and the legs are just as articulated as you'd expect. Double swivel here at the hip, and a knee joint, and then of course the foot has a lot of play in it. When it comes to weaponry, Lugnut doesn't actually have any guns per se. What he does have, though, is this cannon that involves you turning this out and flipping his tail out again, and then folding it upwards. And then you can pull out right here, and there's a missile, and there's a gun that sort of just pops out like this, and sort of, for the most part, goes over him like that. In my opinion, it's kind of useless, and I mean, it adds so much bulk to the rear, and I don't know, I don't like the way it looks. You can turn it around and sort of give him a hip gun like this, but that kind of looks ridiculous as well. It really looks strange. Thankfully, that cannon isn't Lugnut's only sort of weaponry. Just like his animated counterpart, he does have the punching fists. And although they don't extend that far and look more like a 1-inch punch versus an actual jab at someone, or rocket punch, they are pretty cool, and they're available on both both hands, not figures. Huh. What am I saying? And you could do them together and push them back in, and they always look pretty cool. So that's pretty awesome. Overall, this figure is quite outstanding. Overall character design and colors are really, really great. If you missed out on the animated Lugnut, don't worry, because this is the definitive version to own. And even though the posability in his arms are rather weak, his posability altogether is so strong that he looks awesome in whatever pose you can fathom. And then of course there's his character and personality, because there is no other figure that's been released that I can think of that even evokes as much personality as this one does. Before I go, I just want to say that I honestly would have preferred the United version of Lugnut, the deeper green and more purple. But honestly, I couldn't justify paying 4 times as much as I did for this figure just to get a paint scheme that I like slightly better. But hey, if you have the means, I'd say go for the United version. But there you go, the review for the Reveal the Shield Lugnut. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.